So you want to drift like a pro in CarX Street? Well, by the time you finish this video, you will be well on your way to being just that and competing in online lobbies. If you're not, simply leave a dislike on this video or leave a comment with any help that you may need and I'll try my best to reply. Enjoy the video. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is head on into your settings. Go to controls and then go down to your gearbox type and clutch mode. Gearbox, set this to manual, and clutch mode, set this to auto. What this is going to allow you to do is hold the car in the gear that you want. With the clutch mode set to auto, you can still use the clutch. I've got mine set to LB, but you won't have to worry about using the clutch between gear changes. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is the tune. However, I just wanted to quickly show you me doing a donut because the drifting in this game is a little bit weird. So basically the AI or the computer kind of helps you out more than in other games. So what I mean by this is if I do a donut, you can see my controller on the top right of the screen. I'm holding left, but I'm not spinning out, and my wheels, you see, are turning to the right. So what I'm saying is the computer helps you out by not allowing you to spin. So I can basically just hold left and the car's turning right. It's counter steering for me. What that means in this game is you actually need to adjust your tune to compensate for this. So let me show you the tune that I've got on this A86. It's a really easy car to use. I'm sure you'll like it if you are new to drifting. So yeah, let's jump into the tune. All right, so this is a really, really basic tune on this car. It's meant for drifters. You can use it in competitions or if you're trying to twin with people, but it's a little bit slow and it is made for a beginner. So it's quite slippery. However, the computer will look after you in that sense that I've just showed you. So this is a beginner's car. So first off is the engine, ECU. We've got the 3. We got a stock turbo, or in fact we haven't got a turbo on this. Cams, we got high 3, intake manifold 3, fuel system 3, cylinder head 2, engine block 2, exhaust manifold 3, exhaust 3. Now let me show you my specific tune for this car. So you can see I've raised the rev limiter and the turbine pressure. This is basically going to give me more power at a higher RPM, and the torque at high RPM I've also adjusted just a little bit too. So like I say, really, really basic. Now next on to the transmission. Obviously, you're going to want a really, really good clutch. This is going to speed up your gear changes and you're not going to lose as much power through the driveline. So go for the best clutch you can. Differential, obviously welded. We are drifting here. There's no real need for an LSD. Just keep it simple. Go for welded. It's nice and consistent, especially if you're a beginner. Gearbox, I chose the best gearbox. This is only because then I can change the gearbox final drive and the gearing as I like. So you can see here exactly my gear ratios and the transmission loss. This is still a 4-speed, which I mean it's probably not ideal for drifting. However, I didn't want to use the C points or S points or whatever they are to put a 5-speed in it. So we'll make do of the 4-speed. It's a really nice car to drift. So don't worry too much about that. If you just copy the gear ratios, then this video will make more sense to you and you can follow along. So next up is the body. All I've done is maximum weight reduction and I've left this alone. I left this alone. Actually, I could probably, do you know what? I'm just going to adjust this quick on the fly here because I've just seen that it's front bias, the weight on this car, and the weight, I didn't realise I can get a bit more if I can afford it. I can't even afford it. Okay, if you're building this car, turn the weight down and put the weight distribution up a little bit. This is going to, I think it's up. That's kind of funky. I'd put that down actually. Weight distribution in front, put that down. This is going to give you more weight over the rears. So that's an oversight on my behalf. I apologize for that, and I don't have enough credits to actually buy this. So weight on the tune, put that down. Weight distribution in front, put that down also. Level out the car a little bit. It will drive a little bit nicer than my car here actually. So not enough money. Nice. Exit without saving. Oh, that's poor, isn't it really? So next up we have the actual tune, the suspension. This is what's going to make the biggest difference to your car. So I'll really quickly run through this. Arms 4 on the front stabilizers the best. brake system, leave this on stock. You are going to be left foot braking just a little bit, so leave this on stock. You don't want too much force up front. Rear stabilizers, best again. Rear suspension arms, best. This is going to give us full control. These front and rear stabilizers and the arms, this is going to give us full control for our wheel alignment. So put these all on the best. Front springs and the front dampers, I also put these on the best, again giving us full control. And those front springs, they go a little bit lower, so this car's on 14s, it's properly slammed. I really like the look of this. Minus 60 on the front. Don't worry if you don't have the S points for this, go for minus 50, that's absolutely fine. It actually goes lower than what I have it here, so yeah, go for elite if you want, but I like to go for the best stuff. So front dampers, like I say, hard, rear dampers the same, rear springs the same, and then as for the tune on this one, so this is where I've taken into consideration the AI and the computer taking over. So normally things like caster angle, you want as much caster as you can for the self steer and the center steer. So when you're transitioning, your body steers for yourself. However, in this game, the computer does it for you. So you actually want to reduce this a little bit. So if you put the caster angle to, I've got it set as 6, which actually is really, really straight. So it's what this is the suspension. If you think of the strut, it's the angle of the strut. So at the moment, the wheels are 6.5 degrees in front of the strut. If they were to be 0, the strut and the wheel would be exactly aligned. So basically, if you've got negative caster, it's like a shopping trolley where the wheels are behind the arm. If you've got positive caster, the wheels go in front of that. So if you've pushed around a shopping trolley, you know they handle like shit, and if you push them, it kind of doesn't self-steer, it kind of just goes wherever the fuck it wants. So that's getting way off topic. That's getting way off topic. I apologize, but yeah, caster angle, just set it to what I have here. So caster angle, the minimum, the camber angle also to the minimum. This is going to just camber the front wheels, as you can see here. What this does is it gives you more grip in the turns. So I've skipped over a little bit here. The spring length, basically, I've just put so it makes the car look cool. I think the fitment on this is wicked. It's not too low, but yeah, the fitment does look pretty good on this. So the front spring stiffness, I did upgrade. I did harden just a little bit. The front stabilizer as well, I thought it was just a little bit too soft. It was a little bit too grippy in the front. So by adding a little bit more pressure and a little bit more force in the front, it makes it so you have a good amount of grip. Not too much, not too little. Just spoke about the camber. I have this on full. It gives you massive amounts of grip in the front. This is obviously offset a little bit by the suspension. I really do feel this is like slight change here. So the caster angle, like I say, the Ackerman angle, this is another thing, right? So this is the angle in which your wheels are facing on a turn parallel to each other. So if you have 0 degrees Ackerman angle, both your wheels on full lock are going to be pointing in the same direction. If you've got 55 degrees of Ackerman angle, your inner wheel, your leading wheel, so if you're going around a left-hand corner and you're drifting, so your wheels are turning left too, then the left-hand wheel is going to turn 55 degrees more than the trailing wheel. This sounds bizarre, I know, and having it set at 55 is bizarre. You would never ever do this in real life. Real life cars come with like 20 degrees. So offsetting this to 55 makes the self steer and the center steer a little bit less harsh too. So as I was saying with the computer, you don't want the computer to take over your car. So by doing this, the computer doesn't take over the car quite as much. As you saw at the start when I was doing donuts, and the computer just sort of takes over, doesn't really let you control the car how you want. So I just wanted to clear this up like post edit, because in real life, in a normal drift car, you want your Ackerman angle set at 0. So basically your drift car has got the most amount of grip at full lock. So basically, if you're throwing like 40, 50, 60 degrees of angle, you want your wheels to be exactly parallel with each other so you can get the most amount of grip. So like I say, if you're throwing like massive amounts of lock, you need that front grip, which in this game is completely opposite, because you want kind of like the least amount of grip, because the AI just takes over. The assists in game just take over, and if you have 0 acumen in this game, then the assist is just way too much. Trust me on this one, just go 55 or the max acumen angle that you can do, just to sort of reduce the AI input. So it's not really about the grip levels, because we've kind of done that with the suspension, but the acumen angle, just put to 55 just so the AI doesn't take over so much. It's really hard to understand, I know, but just trust me on this one, put it to the max angle, and yeah, you'll do really well. So as for the steering angle, of course you're drifting, you want as much as you can. So this is going to angle both the wheels pointing outwards at the front just a little bit. What this does is increases your turning response. So as you're initiating into a drift, it makes it way more snappy. It's really nice. So max toe on the front. It's probably a little bit overkill really, but for a beginner, I really like this. So as for the rears now, the spring length is basically just to look cool, and the rear spring stiffness and the rear stabilizer, I've increased this massively to give us less grip on the rear. So as I say, this is a beginner car. It's not very fast, but it does slide really well and it slides really easy, which is why I've increased the rear stability and the rear spring stiffness. As for the camber, I've left this on 6.5. 6.5 degrees in the rear is wild. You'd probably never use this in real life. It'd be way too slow if you're trying to drift. You wouldn't go anywhere. You'll just wheel spin all the time. But in this game, it feels really nice. It feels really easy. Like I say, it's not a fast car. Yeah, so just put it on 6.5. Just leave it on 6.5 and you'll do really well. As for the dampers, I've stiffened these up quite a bit just because, again, I want it stiff in the rear and I want it to sort of be predictable. I don't want there to be too much grip, and yeah, it's really nice. So onto the wheels now, just quickly. So rear spacers, yeah, front and rear spacers, of course. This gives you all the control just to make it look good. The front rims, I've got 255s. We are on nearly 400 horsepower on this car, so 255s up the front on a 15, and I've put 14s on the rear. What the fuck am I doing here? Nice. They should be 265 15s. I've definitely clicked the wrong one there. 255 16s. Nice. This is really nice with the -5 stretch front and rear too. Got really nice front to rear grip ratios. It's such a nice car to drive this. It's really easy, really forgiving, and I'm sure as a beginner you will really like it. So onto the tyre pressures. The rear tyre pressures, I've gone to 3 bar. That's about 45 psi, which is quite a bit for a drift car. So again, really just trying to balance that front and rear grip. And as for the front and rear spacers, this is just to make it look good. That is all. You can put this to whatever you like, really. I'm sure it has a tiny little effect if your tyres are all the way in, or if your wheels are all the way in and the rear wheels are all the way out. You probably will struggle to drift just a little bit, but if you change them sort of like 1 or 2, it's not going to make a massive difference. You won't feel that, not at all. But yeah, that is it for the tune. It's a really nice tune, like I say. Let's jump into some drifting, eh? So now you've got your drift car and you've got it tuned properly, you're going to want to head over to this airfield on the left side of the map. I should say, actually, don't worry if it's not an A86. If you follow that alignment and that setup pretty similarly, go for sort of like between 350 and 400 horsepower on any car with a similar sort of alignment, and it's going to handle pretty much the same as this car. Okay, so head on over to this airfield on the left. It's really good for beginners. It's quite good actually for the intermediate as well. You've got all these helicopters and planes and stuff you can make a sort of nice little track out of. So yeah, really nice place to drift here. And basically well, actually, before I go any further, change traction control off. So you see in the bottom right next to where it says I'm in gear 1, change that to off. And also, actually, one more thing, to change up and down gears is X and B. If you've never used manual before, it's X and B to change up and down gear. Okay, so traction control off with D-pad on the right, and you want to start in first gear, obviously. And the first thing we're going to want to do is just do that donut that I done in the beginning. So max power, max steering, and just go for it. And the AI is going to take over. The game is going to take over. It's not going to let you spin out on this game. This isn't true to real life. It's not true to other games. It's a bit too much, in my opinion. This would never ever happen in real life. You just spin out completely. But what this donut's going to allow us to do is it's basically going to learn the basics of car control. So you're going to want to do the donut, and as you do the donut, stop holding all the way to the left or the right, whichever way you're going, and just sort of feather it. And what you're going to notice is the car is going to, the car's going to drift out. So instead of doing just a circle, you're kind of doing like a big circle, or like an oval, if you like. So stop holding all the way, and you'll notice that your car actually runs out of steam, so you can't physically go any faster in first gear. But what this is going to allow you to do is just sort of learn a bit of steering control and a bit of throttle control too. So in your donut, ease off, just ease off, and you notice that you go further and further out to the point that your car physically can't go any faster. When you go this far, go into seconds, and then you notice it's so easy. It's so easy. So start off with small donuts and just go bigger and bigger and bigger. Go into second gear when you run out of steam, and you'll notice that you'll just go in a big circle basically. So let me just show you that one more time. So start off your donut, and then ease off, go into seconds. Look at that, I'm drifting. All I've done is a donut. That is it. That is all I've done, and I've just eased off. I've just eased off of that steering, and mate, I'm doing a drift, like you just saw. That is all it is to drifting. It's easy in this game because of the AI. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is very, very easy in this game. But that is basically the start of your learning how to be a pro. So once you've done that, what you're going to want to do is start a donut from a slow speed. So basically, first gear, hold one direction and just max power. So now you've not just done a donut, but you've initiated into the donut from a slow speed. That's literally, just imagine there's a corner here. Boom. That's literally your initiation. I'll show you more about initiating in a minute, but that is basically your start to a drift. You're going along straight, you power, you feather that throttle, go into second. Mate, you can't make it easier than this. You literally can't make it easier. So you're going along, full power, go into second. Boom, you can go as far out as you want. There's obviously a plane wing there. But that's it, it's so easy, so easy. Just keep doing this until you've got the hang of sort of feathering the car, going easy on the steering, and yeah, just go bigger and bigger and bigger until you're comfortable with that. And then what I want you to do is go into a donut. Don't hit neutral. I just put it in neutral. So after you've got comfortable doing the donuts with an extended radius, go into another donut and then just hold, say you're going clockwise, just hold right, and then you go in the other way. So you're basically doing a figure of 8 and then go the other way. You can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong in this game. The AI is so strong. Kind of ruins it a little bit. If you're on a wheel, then it's completely different, of course. But you just want to do these figure of 8s. And what you're learning here is how to transition. So if you take the middle part of that figure of 8, what you end up doing is you kind of do something like this. So you're taking that middle part of that figure of 8, and then you're not doing the loops. So you do the 8. You do the 8, but before you come round, you just go the other way. So you're doing this. So this is a transition. So 1's a transition, but like 2 or 3 is called a manji. And manji, I think it means like squiggly line or S or something in Japanese. So if you've got 2 corners that are really, really far away and you can't make it in one solid drift, you're going to have to manji between the 2 to keep that drift going. So that is exactly what you're doing with those figure of 8s. You take out the middle. So one more time. So we're doing our figure of 8 here. We go the other way, but we're not going all the way. We're not going all the way around the figure of 8. We're going backwards and forwards. So you're taking that middle part of the figure of 8 that I showed you initially, and you're doing it over and over and over again to create a manji. So by now you should have learned how to do a donut, how to do an extended donut, how to do a figure of 8, and also take that middle part of the figure of 8 and do a manji or a transition. So basically, once you can do that, you can kind of learn how to link the corners together. You can kind of learn with the extended donuts how to go around slightly larger or slightly tighter corners, using the throttle, of course, using the more throttle or less throttle, more steering angle or less steering angle, depending on the radius of the corner, and then use the manji to link the two corners up. It's as simple as that. I will show you in a bit. I'll go to the one of the hill climbs and I will show you in a second, but there's a couple more things that I want to show you before we get onto that. So I just want to show you initiating. So I don't know if I said before, but initiating is basically the start of the drift. It's getting into the drift. So I was showing you before, just going slowly and then powering. So that is one way. That's just basically a power slide. So one of the other ways to initiate is basically you go along, you hit the handbrake and you turn in. I'm sure if you've watched any sort of drifting, you know that people use the hydro handbrakes all the time. I've got mine set to A, and basically what we're going to do is go left and handbrake at the same time. So it's going to look a little bit like this. You see the rear wheels, they're stuck, they can't go anywhere, and you obviously initiate into the slide. So handbrake once again, and then we're into the slide. So take this, tap the handbrake, don't hold it like I was, tap the handbrake and then go sort of into a donut if you like, or an extended donut. So tap the handbrake and then oh, I've messed that up. How did I mess that up? What the hell? I'm trying to make it too easy. I'm trying to make it too easy. So handbrake and then into that donut. That's all we're doing. If you can do that, you've just basically done your first corner. Like, you can come here exactly where I am, handbrake in, and then that's it. I was in first there. So handbrake in, power. One more time. Handbrake in, power. So you kind of want to time this. You don't want to do them both at the same time. You kind of want to handbrake just a little bit before. So handbrake, turn, power. That's it. That is it. If you imagine, well, there's a corner here. So handbrake, turn, power. As you can see as well, one thing I forgot to say is if you hold the handbrake down and you power at the same time, so here, holding the handbrake down, power, you got the auto clutch. You've got that auto clutch. So if I let go of the handbrake, it's going to do a big clutch kick. If you don't know what a clutch kick is, that's kind of where you push the clutch down, power, and then come off the clutch really quickly. The car's going to jolt forwards, you're going to get a lot of speed, and probably end up spinning the rear wheels. Which brings us on to our next initiation. So I'm going along, and this time we're going to initiate with the clutch. Basically, LB is the clutch, so if I go along and holding down LB, you can see I'm not going anywhere, I've got the clutch held. And we're going to want to initiate with this. So go along, hold LB, power, turn, let go of LB, and you see your car just goes massive. Your car just does like a massive skid. So obviously that was obviously what kind of fucking English is that? So what I was trying to say is obviously don't put too much power like I did. So go along, clutch, power, initiate, and then sort of like ease off the power. So before I obviously mash the power, don't mash the power, just sort of tap the clutch, and you can kind of see, you get this right a few times, just clutch, power, and kind of, if you go along in a straight line, it's pretty easy, just clutch, power, and you initiate. It's as simple as that. So clutch, power, initiate, do that extended donut like I was saying, and mate, that's it. You've just learned how to initiate with the clutch. Boom. So easy. This is the more Japanese way to drift. If you ever watch any like old drift videos or whatever, you see the Japanese, they don't use the handbrake really, they just use clutch. And this is only because you get a massive burst of speed. So if I was to sort of come to this corner, hold down the handbrake, you slow down, obviously you slow down. Obviously, I'm fucking saying it again. You obviously slow down, whereas with the clutch, you speed up. So the Japanese love this way of drifting. Like I say, if you've watched any sort of Japanese drifting, you will understand. So that's basically it. I mean, we've done the donut, we've done the extended donut, we've done the figure of 8. So we have learned how to transition, we've learned how to manji, we've learned how to initiate with the handbrake, we've learned how to initiate with the clutch. Not really too sure how much more I can show you here. So let's go to the mountains, I guess. Yeah, let's go. So we're at the top left of the map here. It's all the way over on the left. Everyone loves this route down here. Look at it. It's orgasmic. It's amazing. There's so many different parts on the map that is like this. You got so many sort of toge roads. But this one is probably everyone's favorite if you play online. So we're going to head down it, and there's 3 ways that you can initiate. There's straight up power, get into that power slide. There's the clutch, and there's a handbrake. So I'm just going to sort of focus on the power slide just for a minute until we sort of get a bit downhill, and then I'll sort of go through a couple more steps that you're going to need to take, and yeah, we go for there. So basically, just get into our sort of extended donut, if you like. And then get into our figure of 8. And then that's all there kind of is to it to begin with. So power slide, those figure of 8s, and then that's basically it. Once again, this time we're going to clutch. Only because I was going to... Oh, I messed it up. I'm trying to make it too easy. I messed it up. I clutched because I was going slow. If I was going any faster, then I'd probably just power slide. But if you're going pretty slow, then definitely clutch. So it sort of depends on your speed, if you like. If you're coming into the corner too fast, pull the handbrake and initiate with the handbrake. If you're going at like a moderate speed, just power slide. Or if you're going really too slow, then clutch. I hope that makes sense. But one thing I did want to show you before we go any further is the possibility of using the handbrake to extend your drift. So if you've probably seen already, if I go around this corner, 2 seconds, I'm going to go into this and watch what happens when I handbrake. So the car sort of just slides. So the car doesn't, it slows down a little bit, and the handbrake can be used to slow down. But once again, if you just hold the handbrake, that wasn't a good example. If you hold the handbrake, you just slide. Okay, so if you're powering, you won't make that kind of radius. So the handbrake kind of takes you to the outside of the corner. Oh, I said this in my Forza video, and everyone seemed to love it. So that the handbrake takes you across the road. It takes you across the road. You can extend those drifts, which is really useful for, I'm going to show you here, really useful just for extending that drift a little bit so you can get the next corner right. So you're doing those manjis to get between the corners. Here's a great example. So manji, 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 hold the handbrake, and then go. You got to be careful not to press the accelerator at the same time as the handbrake too much, because like I said before, you've got the clutch in, so you end up doing a big clutch kick. Well, I think you can. Well, that was a really good example. So we're coming into the corner. I need to extend this, so handbrake, and look how far it takes me. So the handbrake you need to utilise to extend your drifts. I did just do a little bit of like left foot brake in there, if you like. So obviously brake is LB. If you're coming into a corner way too fast, use the handbrake, and use a little bit of foot brake just to sort of slow you down a little bit. Using the foot brake will slow you down more, and it will also slow the front wheels down to keep your angle too. So I'm going to initiate with the clutch. Power, power, power. You see how I'm sort of extending those manges too? So that little middle figure of 8, the more power and the less angle you have, the longer those manges are going to be to extend your drift that little bit further to link up the 2 corners. I think I've kind of covered that okay. Obviously, if you have any questions, then please do leave it in the comments below. I'll try my hardest to explain them. If I don't reply to the comments, then please do join my Discord. I do have a Discord that I will link below. Join the Discord. I always respond to my Discords. It's a really good community that I've got going on there. Everyone plays CarX. If I don't answer, someone probably better than drifting than me will answer. So yeah, join the Discord if you don't get the answer that you're looking for from me on YouTube, or I don't respond. Let's just do one run, and you see there I initiated with the just power. I didn't clutch kick, I didn't handbrake, nothing. But I'm just going to do a run here, and I'm just going to let you guys just sort of see my controller, see exactly what I'm doing. I'm spinning out. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm fucking spinning out. Don't be afraid to use third if you are on a faster bit of track. I'm getting nervous, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make it like, I'm trying to show you guys too much, I think. It's kind of just a balance. It's a balance of the handbrake. It's a balance of the normal brake. It's a balance of the steering. And of course everything in between. But the whole point of showing you back at the airfield those manges, or those figure of 8, sorry, is to put it into practice here. All you're doing is what I showed you at the airfield. You're doing big extended donuts. You're doing the center of those figure of 8s. You're initiating with the clutch. Let me show you again. Initiating with the clutch. You're using the handbrake sort of to extend your drift. If you're coming in too fast and you're straight, you can of course you can handbrake. That'll slow you down. So it's practice, practice, practice. That's kind of the best I can say at the minute. If you've got any comments, like I say, then please do leave them below or in the Discord. But I haven't really got too much else to say at the minute. I'll try and make a video of sort of a more experienced car, a faster car, a really, really grippy car. So I mean, we're doing like well under 100 Ks here. I think my grippiest car, I'd do like 120 at some points of this. So yeah, leave any comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then I don't mean to be that guy, but please do leave a like, a subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.